Hi all, this is Michael from the Kubeapps team at VMware bringing you a quick update to show the work that Andres and I, together with a few people from Combitech working for the Swedish company LKAB, have been getting up to recently. This includes new login options, supporting Helm 3, and removing the dependence on MongoDB. First, you'll see here that I've got my dev environment set up so that it no longer requires a clunky Kubernetes Service Account token, but rather it redirects to DEX, an auth provider supporting the OpenID Connect authentication layer. In a real situation, DEX would then transparently redirect me to a well-known auth service from VMware or Google or Microsoft. But for local work, I'm asking DEX to pretend to be the main auth provider itself. So I can choose different roles that I may want to test with here. For example, if I choose to log in as a Kubernetes user, DEX gives me a corresponding OpenID Connect token, which the Kubernetes API server verifies before it then applies any related RBAC as usual. So, for example, I can't list namespaces here or do a lot of other things. DEX also has an LDAP plugin, which allows logging in via an external LDAP service. In this case, I'm just running OpenLDAP. And I'll use that to log in using my Kubeapps operator role. This works in the same way that DEX then gives me a corresponding OpenID Connect token, which the Kubernetes API server verifies before applying the RBAC as usual. So this time, I can see all the namespaces on the system. That work is all released and can be used today, but it does require that your Kubernetes API server is trusting DEX as the OIDC provider. Moving right along to other new features, you'll see I can select and deploy WordPress as always. You can see not a lot's changed in the last couple of weeks. Where are the new features? Well, checking back on the cluster, we can see that Kubeapps is running without its normal Tiller proxy service. In fact, Tiller isn't running anywhere on the cluster. This is due primarily to the excellent Helm 3 support work contributed by Andreas, Simon, Latif, and Niklas from Combitech working for LKAB. Andres and I have been working hard to support and unblock them wherever we can, and working even more closely this past week to bring the Helm 3 support to the finish line. We hope to release this next week as a minor release where Helm 2 is still the default, and a major release later where we switch the default to Helm 3. If we take a closer look at the Kubeapps pods, you might notice that there's also no MongoDB service running. Thanks to the excellent work from Andres, it's been replaced by this Postgres instance. In my dev env, I've explicitly switched off replication, but it's master-slave by default. We're still working on some small issues with the Postgres-based chart service. We expect to release this next week, also as a minor release without changing the default from MongoDB to Postgres until a later major release. So, recapping, no more MongoDB, support for Helm 3, and integration with authentication providers. An extra special shout out to the folks from Combitech working for LKAB, Andreas, Simon, Latif, and Niklas, for organising and devoting a number of full-time engineers over the past weeks to work on the initial Helm 3 support in Kubeapps. Thanks for watching.